Collectively or independently, since you're doing crime prevention, how much martial arts training or self-defense training or military training do any of you or all of you have?
In high school, I was a boxer, and I am currently taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes. I'm pretty good at it, but I know there's a lot of things I need to learn, which is why crime prevention isn't on top of my list. And like I said, when I do crime prevention, it's mostly not in like this full year, which, like the gentleman said, could provoke situations. But boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for me.
Anyone else want to?
Well, I'll just add, I know collectively there's really a mix in training and things like that. I myself do have martial arts experience. I'm also a veteran, United States Army. And I think it does vary, and I've seen a lot of people who come into it without any experience that will then start training because they realize it's a good idea to at least have basic self-defense and things like that. I think there's actually a lot of people who do this that do have some kind of training. Sometimes it's military experience, sometimes it's martial arts. I know that there's some people that go out and do it just with CPR and life-saving things, kind of under their belt, and they try to do that stuff, especially when they're dealing with the homeless population and people who might need help. And beyond that, it's getting the help that these people will actually need, regardless of what type of help that would be.
Yeah, like he says, the training varies quite a bit. I've met real-life superheroes who have had no training, but like the Dark Guardian, who was part of the New York initiative, he's actually a martial arts instructor. And Phoenix Jones from Seattle, who I mentioned, he's a mixed martial arts fighter. So there's a wide variety, and like he's saying too, it depends. A lot of people that focus on charity probably don't make that a priority. But I know of a lot of different levels of kung fu ability here.
I think it's important, even for those that aren't involved in crime prevention and crime fighting in particular, also be trained. I'm a dancer and a gymnast, but I've also had some light training in mixed martial arts, mostly for defense.
Another important note is a lot of crime prevention can be handled preemptively simply by being in the area. Physical altercations are sometimes unnecessary if one's willing to stand their ground, stand up for what they believe in. Personally, I watch a lot of Bruce Lee movies.
We had a question here in the second row.
Yeah, I'm from La Crosse, so I've heard of Electron a bit, and I guess one of my questions is, recently you were on the radio, and this is really for all of you though, how do you deal with the ridicule that you get from the public, being that, they hear you and they think, oh, they're in costume, it's just a big joke?
It was actually, me and Geist were talking about this on the way over. A lot of times, you'll get good articles, you'll get bad articles, you'll have people saying positive or negative things. It kind of happens, comes with the territory. The thing about articles is people are going to make their own opinions based on those articles. So it doesn't really matter what the reporter says or, what they talk about, how they talk about it, because people who read that are going to look into it themselves. One of my favorite things after articles is reading the online comments to see exactly how the public views this.
And if I could add that I think we're thick-skinned enough that when we're walking down the street, whether alone or together and on patrol, people are coming out of bars and going, hey, it's Halloween or whatever, Fine, if someone gets a smile or a laugh. But when we help the homeless, they're not making fun of us. They're just accepting what we can give them.
I've really seen quite a wide range of articles too. For example, in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel did a piece on the Watchman that I think was really pretty flattering. You know, it was very positive. He talked to people in the neighborhood he was patrolling who were grateful that he was doing it. But then again, the Onion, as you'll recall, ran this piece that said, "Help us unmask this dopey superhero guy." So people really have an extreme opinion on it one way or the other, it seems like, which was one of the fascinating things for me, to hear the sharply conflicting ideas on it. More questions? Sure, right there.
Yeah, I got a question. What is the biggest obstacle you have with this, taking on this cause? Personal obstacle? How do you overcome it?
Sure. You want to go ahead?
Depends, like, do you mean like family, personal, or just like?
Any sort of personal obstacle that's just for you individually.
Basically, if, for me, I make a list on things that are most important, and, I mean, to help me with stuff like that, but I have to take care of priorities first, which means, education, family come first, which is mostly the biggest obstacle, I would agree, family. And this comes second, but at the same time, I have to work with it to, like, I'm sorry, I got lost. It's coming back. Okay, so basically I have to just overcome those, and I know it's really hard, but it really depends on the situation. Like family, for one, I talk with my family about this. I hear their concerns, and I work with them. Like, the biggest obstacle, what happened after the Dark Knight movie shooting, that was a bad time for us, so a lot of real-life superheroes just stopped patrolling altogether. And we basically just have to go with the flow, work with what's best with the community's interests, I would believe. I hope I didn't stray too far off that topic.
Yeah, I'm just going to say one thing quick, and then Watchman's going to say something. Yeah, like he was referring to, after that terrible shooting in Aurora, there was actually a real-life superhero that got arrested in New Jersey because people were afraid that they were seeing some sort of copycat killer. So it became kind of a challenging time to express who you are, I imagine. Watchman, do you want to say something?
Well, and back to the question, I'd say for me, the biggest obstacle is probably time and money. I work full-time. For a while, I was going to school while doing this. I'm married. I have kids. And so time and money are huge obstacles for me. And kind of a motto that evolved for me in doing this was to just do what you can when you can. And so it's kind of become, when I have the extra time, I'm going to use it for this. When I have the extra money, I'm going to put it towards, doing one of our charity events or just giving to a charity, even outside of doing this. But it's all about doing what you can when you can.
Yeah, I always find that, really kind-hearted people are usually generally pretty broke, too. The rich guy.
Yeah.